What if Anakin trusted Mace Windu and stayed in the Jedi Temple? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Anakin watches as the gunship takes off, leaving him alone in the hangar to make sense of everything that is happening. Part of him wants to warn Mace Windu about Palpatine and insist that he go with him. The chancellor is more dangerous than they could imagine, but at the same time, Mace speaks with such iron certainty that he almost believes him. Almost. Instead, he tries to take his mind off this development by meditating. He makes his way over to the council chambers and closes his eyes. Although his chambers might be more suitable, Anakin can't help but feel a strange closeness with them. As he sits down and closes his eyes, Anakin tries to clear his mind and instead reflect on everything that happened over the last few weeks. How many things have changed and how they led to this situation. It feels surreal to think about, imagining how just a few weeks ago the Jedi seemed at the top of the world with their success over Dooku. Anakin feels like he is about to become a Jedi Master, but now all of that seems just like a distant memory. He realizes that this is the complacency that Palpatine took advantage of to establish his control over the Republic. These thoughts are interrupted by the sound of marching boots. It echoes across the Jedi Temple and shakes Anakin from his thoughts. Glancing out the window, he sees his sea of red and white advancing up the temple steps. When he makes his way down, he sees just what they are. The clones of the Coruscant Guard. At their head is Commander Fox. Mace Windu and his strike team are nowhere to be seen. Anakin feels a knot forming in his stomach as the Jedi around the courtyard gather to watch, their eyes widening and fingering their lightsabers nervously. Seeing their concern, he gently pushes them back and steps forward, directly opposite Fox. "What's going on here, Commander?"
General, the Jedi Order is the prime suspect in the murder of Chancellor Palpatine, especially you. We suggest you cooperate, sir. We don't want things to get ugly.
"You're making a big mistake, Commander. Things aren't what they seem."
Well, if you have nothing to hide, then please come with us, and we can review the evidence.
"Go back to base, soldier. The Chancellor was manipulating everyone, including you."
I'll take that as a confession, then.
He waves towards his men, who raise their blasters and open fire. Anakin has his lightsaber out in an instant, deflecting their first few shots. But with so many clones attacking at once, it is like battling a storm. The blaster bolts rain past him. The Jedi past him are not as fortunate. Some manage to defend against the first few attacks, but others collapse from the onslaught. As the blaster fire intensifies, the clones begin advancing up the steps. Anakin doesn't think, throwing himself into combat. He shifts stances, going on the attack, and starts cutting through the clones, letting his lightsaber sweep through them. Their armor provides little protection against his lightsaber, and half a dozen fall before they can react. But this is a drop in the bucket, as clones move past him, hurrying towards the Jedi who struggle to react. Their ranks are in chaos, and they struggle to form defensive lines. The few Jedi Knights with them try desperately to organize things. Seeing how poorly things are going, Anakin curses and rushes back to their side, fighting his way through their ranks to throw the clones back. He uses the Force to throw them aside as he runs past them and calls for a retreat. The remaining Jedi hurry to follow, grabbing the wounded and herding the youngest into the temple to protect them. As they give ground, the courtyard is lost. Word soon begins to spread to the other Jedi across the temple as they sound the alarm. A few Jedi Masters remain here to organize the defenses, but they are either too few in number or too old to lead properly. This leaves Anakin to take command of the defenses and rally the Jedi. Though the clones far outnumber them, the Jedi know these grounds better and use them to their advantage. They are slowly organized into teams, with at least a few experienced knights in each group. Most focus on organizing their defenses, but others help evacuate the younglings or secure critical areas. They also make use of hidden passages and hallways to ambush the clones and hamper their progress. As he raises his lightsaber, Anakin orders them to fight. The combat is grueling. They fight for every inch of the temple. The clones advance in a near-endless tide, driving the Jedi Order back bit by bit. Many of their best fall to buy time for others to form up, or to let the youngest escape. Anakin is usually in the thick of the fighting, keeping the Order's focus together, shouting encouragement and unleashing the full power of his Force abilities to try to keep them back. It is difficult and lasts throughout the night, but though the Jedi make a good accounting of themselves, they are slowly driven back, and Anakin must make his final stand in the council chamber, protecting a group of younglings. As he hears the clones gather outside, he takes a deep breath and prepares to give his life for the younglings. But then he hears the sound of combat from outside. The clones shout in surprise and rush to confront a new threat. The younglings look for a place to hide, just as the last of the troopers are thrown aside. But when the doors open, Mace appears and stumbles inside. His robes are singed, and cuts are covering his face, one dangerously close to his eye. He nearly falls over, but Anakin catches him. Outside, the attack seems to slacken as the sound of combat grows more distant.
We should be safe for a while. The clones are retreating to regroup.
Anakin helps Mace sit on his chair. Master, what happened? Were you unsuccessful in defeating Chancellor Palpatine?
On the contrary, Skywalker, we were quite successful and defeated him, but at a cost. The others have fallen. But he was prepared, Skywalker. After he fell, his allies in the Senate were ready. They started to claim the Jedi attempted to stage a coup. I wouldn't be surprised if the security footage of our encounter has now vanished.
So this is under the Senate's orders?
I'm afraid so. It seems like Masamata managed to rally his supporters to act. There is nothing we can do except survive right now. How are things here?
I've managed to hold the temple as best I can, but their numbers are not something we can defeat. I've already called for a retreat and evacuated the younglings, and most vulnerable. They're escaping through the lower tunnels to the lower districts. Hopefully they can find transport off-world from there.
Excellent job. There is little reason for us to stay here, given the situation. Let's get out of here.
The two of them gather up the younglings and head down one of the hidden tunnels within the temple. This takes them to the lower districts, where Anakin manages to haggle a ship and take them off-world. Once they're away from Coruscant, the Jedi can at last breathe easily, but tension lingers in the air as to what to do now. With the Jedi Temple destroyed, they have few other bases, and these would doubtlessly be monitored by the clone forces. Already, reports are coming in on the holofeed of Masamata going public about the Jedi's supposed coup, and reports that all across the galaxy the Jedi are being hunted down. And their boldest claim is that the mastermind of this attack was Mace Windu, and how Anakin Skywalker had tried to warn them of it. But some groups within the Senate dismissed this claim. The younglings all look at Anakin in surprise, a few inching away from him, worried as if he might attack them. But Mace shakes his head and insists that this is a lie meant to divide them. They also get a message from Padme and Obi-Wan, saying that they have established a safe zone on Naboo. They can regroup in the undercity of the Gungans. Mace sends word to the other Jedi, who begin arriving there in small groups. The last of these is Anakin, who looks around and is dismayed to see how few Jedi there are. Many have gone to other places to hide, but others have simply been killed off. He looks around to see Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Padme, Quinlan Vos, and Yoda. Although he is pleased to see them, others are less certain about him and regard him warily. He recalls the message that Masamata sent out, feeling guilty for even trusting Palpatine at all, slouching his shoulders and staring at the ground.
Those messages are false. Anakin was who exposed Palpatine.
Falsehood, fear spreads. Truth, a seed it is, buried now, but not lost. In time, rise it will, if patience we keep.
Masters, I have no doubt about Anakin, but a thought undoubtedly lingers in other Jedi's minds. Why would they claim such a thing?
I suspect it is to turn Anakin against the Jedi. Remember that Palpatine had long wished to turn Anakin to his side. Perhaps this is what Masamata is doing to ensure that happens. The question is, what do we do now?
We need to be careful what messages we send. Declaring Anakin a hero now will only make it seem like we're using him.
He is a hero, Padme. He saved hundreds of younglings and even more Jedi. He held the temple longer than any one of us could have.
But the Senate already thinks he's one of them. They might call us liars, or that we are manipulating him.
So let them think I'm guilty? Let them rewrite everything?
Anakin, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the truth doesn't matter to them right now. Not while they're being told a comfortable lie.
Matter, the truth, always does. But believe it, many will not. A story they crave, not truth. Comfort, not clarity.
Then we make it uncomfortable. We strike. With Skywalker by our side and the remaining Jedi, we can give them a bloody nose. If we can rally some planetary defense forces, maybe we can form an army. No doubt they will try tightening control of the Outer Rim. but they will not be pacified in that region.
That is a reckless plan, Master Windu. We lack the manpower to fight, even assuming we can gather new allies. The galaxy is on edge for Jedi aggression. Working in line with what they think of us will only further turn them against us.
Obi-Wan is right. We must remain in hiding. Though this is a safe zone, the Jedi cannot remain here. We must find another place to set you up before we even consider striking back.
Violence, our path, must not begin with. Seen enough war the galaxy has. Show them the Jedi have not fallen through compassion, through patience, through action tempered by wisdom. Win back the people, not with blades, but with light.
Agreed. In the meantime, I suggest we try to win some of the people back.
She might have more to say, but then Padme instinctively touches her stomach and winces. She's near the end of her term, and every day brings more worry. The Gungan doctors with them take Padme and guide her to a medical chamber. Just in time, too, as the doctors announce that the baby is coming soon. They quickly begin to hook her up to the machines and prepare for the delivery. The rest of them politely excuse themselves and allow the doctors to work. Anakin lingers on Padme, who offers a tight smile before he departs. He thinks of the future of the galaxy that his children might grow up in, and shakes his head sadly. It looks rather bleak.
Padme, she was how Palpatine manipulated you, isn't she?
Mace appears behind him, his face stern, yet, oddly enough, his voice carries no judgment. It is simply him stating facts. The way he speaks leaves Anakin feeling unable to deny it, and instead he simply nods his head.
Her children. They're mine. I know I broke the Jedi Code, and I'm prepared to accept the consequences. That would typically mean being removed from the Jedi Order. But we don't have our temple anymore, and our numbers are too depleted to justify removing you. Besides, at the end of the day, you made the right choice and helped the Jedi Order. There is no reason to believe you won't do the same thing again.
And what is that?
I think you see it too. But staying together, it will bring consequences. The more we gather, the easier we are to find, especially us, since we are the Empire's most wanted.
So we separate again? Hide forever?
We survive, for now, and we strike back. It's your name they dragged through the mud, and me they almost killed. I think it's fair for us to begin working on retaliation.
Anakin stares at Mace for a long moment. It was rare for them to ever see eye to eye, but in this regard both men stand united in their goals. He stares at his wife for a long moment, then dips his head, as later that night the two men and any willing to follow them depart into the void of space, eager to strike back at the Empire that has taken so much from them. To begin their campaign, their small band needs to establish a base somewhere, and Mace decides on Jeddah. Though not quite the same as the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, it remains a sacred place for the Jedi, especially with its kyber crystal mines. The new Empire also recognizes the strategic and cultural importance of the planet, as they deploy a strong garrison there to protect their mining efforts and drive out any Republic sympathizers. They have already started jailing those whose loyalty they suspect, including many of the guardians of the Kyber Temple. By the time Mace and Anakin arrive, a small insurgency is already breaking out on the planet. The two waste no time in making their presence known, too. They target several transports carrying kyber crystals from the mines and destroy them. Though their guards were expecting a fight, they did not expect Jedi whose skills are far beyond what they were trained to handle. Mace and Anakin lead the charge, their lightsabers flashing as they cut through the men left and right. The same is true for the Imperial patrols the Jedi ambush. Entire platoons of clones are cut down, and outposts fall before their lightsabers. Seeing this and realizing it is Anakin leading them, Saw Gerrera reaches out and offers an alliance with them. Once Anakin makes it clear he is not truly serving the Empire as they say, the two sides quickly join forces. They find some unexpected allies in Chirrut Imwe and Baze Malbus, two former monks of the Guardians. Soon enough, their attacks ramp up and intensify as the rebels strike larger and more heavily guarded locations. Instead of just supplying convoys in isolated areas, they even advance into areas where the Imperials are garrisoned and strong, hitting them there and disappearing before they can muster a response. Mace Windu moves like a shadow through half-ruined streets, his violet blade hissing with each deflection as he leads another attack in the ruined streets of the city. This time, they are hitting an Imperial training ground. Blaster fire rattles off the walls as Imperial troops press forward. The Guardian's ancient stone towers loom in the background, now scarred by cannon fire and Imperial banners. From an alley, Baze Malbus leans out and unloads his repeater cannon into a squad of stormtroopers. The blast sends them flying, but more are already rounding the corner.
We can't hold this position much longer.
Chirrut Imwe, calm in the chaos, walks beside him. Though blind, his staff strikes with precision, slamming into a trooper's helmet and sweeping another off his feet. I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. An explosion ripples across the plaza. An Imperial walker advances, its heavy cannon charging. Then it shudders violently. A flash of blue light streaks through the air. Anakin Skywalker, flipping onto the hull, plunges his lightsaber through the viewport. The walker stumbles, then collapses in a heap of metal and smoke. The rebels cheer. Anakin lands in front of Baze and Chirrut, his armor scorched, his face hard. You said you wanted the temple back. Let's take it.
First we should regroup and let Saul know what we're planning.
As the walker burns and scatters the remaining Imperials, the rebels slip through the shadows and regroup. Inside their compound, the room flickers under the emergency lights. Beneath them, the ground cracks and is littered with debris. Imperial crates and scanners litter the floor. Saw Gerrera leans over a holomap, flanked by insurgents. Mace Windu stands beside him, arms crossed, listening as Saw outlines their campaign.
The Empire has 30 patrols combing Jeddah. Half the city is under curfew, and I've heard reports of strange ships. They look just like Imperials, but painted black. They might be special forces. I've tried to send men to look into things, but none of them have returned. I've beaten their best once. I can do it again. You Jedi, a few, but your name still means something.
We don't need numbers. We'll be the storm and the shadow. The Force guides us to this moment. We're with you.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
They begin to formulate a plan, looking for a target that will force the Imperials out of hiding and deploy their forces. There is only one thing they value above all else on this planet: the Kyber crystal mines. Soon enough, a small force of elite rebels, along with the Jedi and monks, storm the mining facilities. The caves breathe with ancient energy. Blue light pulses from walls laced with Kyber veins, illuminating the hollow silence. The crystals hum as if whispering warnings. The guards there quickly fall before their weapons as Anakin and Mace lead the charge. They cut through the enemy soldiers with ease, some barely able to get their weapons up before they fall. Despite his blindness, Chirrut moves through the darkened caverns without a problem, directing them through the shafts towards where the heaviest mining operations are. Saw and Baze take up the rear, advancing more cautiously as they systematically clear the mines with blasters and explosives. Then, footsteps. Heavy, mechanical, elite clone commandos in black and crimson armor, visors glowing red, sweeping through the tunnels in tight formation. Behind them moves something darker. Inquisitors, tall, masked, cloaked in shadows, walks without sound, their double-bladed red saber held ready. Baze fires a barrage of blaster bolts toward the nearest commando, followed by Saw, who hits them with a thermal detonator. The whole cavern shakes as blaster fire erupts all around them. Commandos move for cover, while rebels regroup. One clone commando rushes forward with his electro staff, but is met by Chirrut, who parries these strikes with his staff and staggers him to let Mace finish him off. From above, Anakin drops, slamming into the rest of the squad like a thunderbolt. His blue saber ignites mid-fall, cutting through armor like paper. One soldier drops before his body hits the ground. The rest react fast, too fast for standard clones. These are trained to fight Jedi. They spread, encircling Anakin with synchronized fire. He spins, directing bolts back into visors, sliding between blaster fire with uncanny speed. He moves like a storm, angry, precise, relentless. But it is Baze who saves him and forces them to retreat with a sustained burst. A crimson blade ignites behind him. The Inquisitor lunges, staff saber humming to life, striking at Anakin's blind side. Anakin turns just in time, parrying it mid-spin. You're no Sith, just a shadow pretending to be one. I've seen the Sith. You don't have what it takes. They clash, blade to blade. Sparks fly. The Inquisitor is fast, but Anakin fights with raw fury. The cave rumbling with each blow. The air bends with their power. Then, another flash of violet. Mace Windu arrives like a vengeful ghost, landing behind the remaining commandos. He ignites his saber and launches into Vapad, channeling their aggression into his strength. He cuts through the two before they even aim.
These are Palpatine's monsters. Let's show them what we've become.
Together, Anakin and Mace press the Inquisitors back. As the rest of his squad attacks, they are stonewalled by Mace, who shifts into defensive fighting. All of their attacks are reflected against them. This slowly tires them as Anakin rushes with wild strength, paired with Mace's disciplined fury. The Inquisitors hold their ground at first, blocking strikes, until Anakin sweeps low, and Mace slams his saber down from above. The Inquisitors scream as their weapon is knocked aside. Anakin steps forward and finishes him off. Mace takes the other one with a downward slash. The last one backs away, preparing to retreat, but the Jedi don't let them escape. Anakin and Mace rush at him. He tries to defend them, but their attacks come too fast, and his weapon flies from his hand. Anakin looks down at the Inquisitor, the glow of the crystals bathing them both. In the glint of the black visor, he sees something, a flash on his face. He breathes, then extinguishes his blade.
Let this one live. Let the others see them defeated.
Mace looks at him, surprised, but nods. Behind them, the last of the commandos lie unconscious or dead. Without their elite forces, the mines are easily secure, and Saw sends a signal to the rest of his forces, ordering them to begin their attack. All across the city, partisans and Jedi strike at critical points. However, the Imperials are badly demoralized with the loss of all their elite forces and unable to put up a serious fight. Soon, all of the city falls to the rebels, and Jedi is thrown into celebration. The temple is recaptured, and Chirrut and Baze welcome their new allies to stay in it, letting it serve as a base of operations for them. Anakin even suggests inviting the other Jedi to relocate there and begin their counterattack. But to their surprise, Obi-Wan and Yoda are unhappy with their actions, though the people of Jeddah cheer them on. It should be a great victory, but one short-lived as the Imperials make quick work of this battle to paint the rebels as terrorists. Although the Jedi insist the Empire was corrupting this temple and desecrating this holy site, they use it to their advantage, saying they were carrying out a legal mining operation, but the Jedi's outdated practices led them to responding in such a way. Within Coruscant and the core territories, it only solidifies the hatred of the Jedi amongst the Senate and populace. For Padme and the others trying to challenge Emperor Masamada's rule, this makes their fight harder.
While you two are off playing vigilante, the rest of us are still trying to survive. We have younglings and Padawans with nowhere to go, and having the Empire cracking down on us will not help.
They were hunting us, Master Kenobi. Now they know we can fight back.
No. Now they have ammunition to use against us. We were fighting them. Senator Amidala was using her influence to turn the people to our side. She pointed out most of the survivors are the young, people who could not have taken part in the coup. Now all people will remember are you two riding alongside terrorists like Saul.
And you think that just because some people and senators have good opinions of us that the Empire will just stop hunting us? They've already shifted tactics.
What do you mean, young one?
They're now sending out Jedi hunters. Sith undoubtedly trained by Palpatine, powerful Force users and elite clone regiments. They're shifting this war and doing it in secrecy.
To prove his point, Mace shows them the hologram of Inquisitors they've encountered, showing the footage of them attacking and cutting down several of Saw's partisans. The other Jedi lean closer to observe it, their eyes widen in surprise at the sight of these fighters.
Dangerous this situation is. If left unchecked, grow powerful these warriors will. Very well. Help you, we will.
Quinlan Vos, Yoda, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan head to Jeddah to investigate these bodies. Once there, Quinlan picks up one of the Inquisitor's lightsabers and examines it. He closes his eyes and focuses, channeling on the Force trail that led these beings here. His tracking abilities allow him to catch glimpses of where the Inquisitors came from. His mind struggles to battle the dark energy within them as it pushes at his mind, trying to overcome it. Taking a deep breath, he forces through these visions and begins to see what he is looking for. Glimpses of a great fortress on a distant planet. Nur. Quinlan recognizes it, and there are dozens of them, waiting to be unleashed and ready to hunt down the remaining Jedi in the galaxy. Even Obi-Wan and Yoda cannot deny its danger and decide to investigate. The ocean churns around the black spires of the fortress. Rain lashes against the landing platform as the stolen shuttle descends, engines humming low. Inside the ship, Mace Windu, Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Quinlan Vos stand in silence. Tension hums between them louder than the storm outside.
I hate this place. You should. It remembers pain.
The Jedi move through the dark, sterile corridors. Red lights flicker. The Force feels warped here, twisted. They pass glass cells filled with Force relics and fragments of lightsabers. Trophies. The sight sickens the Jedi as they recall General Grievous and his old fortress. This place feels eerily familiar to those headquarters and shake their head. But then they make their way over to the next chamber. The sight is even more terrifying. Rows of Jedi bodies suspended in stasis. Padawans, younglings, those who could not have possibly taken part in the coup. But here they are, mixed in with the elderly Jedi. Their faces are still contorted in horror, and though they are long dead, the stasis allows the presence to continue to linger. They are familiar with these Jedi. Some they knew, some Yoda trained. Obi-Wan talked with, and Anakin was friends with.
This is terrible. How could anyone do this?
Defilement of the Force itself, this is.
They'll pay for this. They begin recording everything. Mace activates a holocam, capturing the data, the corpses, the tortures. Even the most die-hard supporters of the Empire must see that these practices are horrific. No one wants to see children die. Quinlan reaches out, touching a cage.
We don't have much time. They know we're here.
Alarms blare. Doors slam shut. From the darkness, sabers ignite, red and spinning. Inquisitors leap from the balconies above, cloaked in black, striking fast. The Jedi scatter, blades hissing to life. Anakin pairs off with two Inquisitors, sabers clashing in flashes of blue and red. Obi-Wan intercepts another, parrying swiftly, while Yoda launches into spinning leaps, disarming one midair. Mace is surrounded by them, but seems eerily calm as he parries each strike. Quinlan and Ahsoka stand back to back, the former laughing, but his eyes gleaming dangerously. At the center, a tall figure emerges. The Grand Inquisitor, masked, his saber burning crimson.
You still fight for the corpse of a republic. You still cling to illusion. You should join us.
He steps toward Mace and Anakin, voice low, serpentine.
You feel it, don't you? That anger, that hunger. You're already halfway here.
He gestures at the bodies in stasis. I'm nothing like you. I stared into the darkness and walked out unscathed. You bow to fear. I make fear bow to me. Keep begging for my anger. You just might choke on it. Snarling, Anakin rushes towards him. When the two Inquisitors try to stop him, he sweeps his lightsaber and cuts them down. The Grand Inquisitor smiles and parries these strikes, but when Anakin slams into him, he feels himself being pushed back as the Jedi advances towards him. He can only block against Anakin's attacks, struggling to defend, and then spins his lightsaber. But this attack is cut short as Anakin continues his attack. To his side, Mace clears up his enemies, too, and moves towards them. Against the pair, the Inquisitor has no chance. Realizing this, he backs away, but with each step he gives, the darkness around them grows. Rather than fight it, the Grand Inquisitor spreads his arm out and directs it towards them, just as Mace and Anakin rush forward. They are blinded by the darkness, but they can hear the sound of chaos around them. Their attacks are cut off as the darkness washes over them.
You feel the rage here.
You understand nothing.
I understand you let your anger guide you. You wish to hurt the Empire and those who created it. Let's see if you can.
He lunges. Mace meets him mid-strike, violet blades snarling against red. Dark energy moves from the Inquisitor's hand. Anakin intercepts it, trying to hold it back. Mace tries to redirect it, but in a place like this, it is overwhelming, like a roar in the Force.
You couldn't even save your order, or your Padawan, or your mother.
That hits Anakin. He stumbles for a breath, but Mace strikes, forcing the Inquisitor back. You think that pain makes me weak?
No. It makes you strong.
Like you, Inquisitor?
He whirls towards the two, letting his lightsaber spin, but both Mace and Anakin rush to meet him and shove his attack back. In a synchronized move, he and Mace launch forward. Anakin disables the saber's spinning mechanism, and Mace knocks the Inquisitor down with a strike to the chest, and Anakin finishes him off with a stab to the heart. The remaining Inquisitors fall or retreat. The fortress shakes, alarms sound. With the information secure, they can now turn on the Imperial government and go on the offensive. Padme and the others use this information to challenge their claims. If the Empire is truly angry at the Jedi's religion, then here they were committing practices even more horrific. Seeing how even children were kept on stasis, They question how these people could even be responsible for this coup, and this raises serious questions about Masamada's rise. Slowly, momentum shifts towards the rebels, as though they are few. Masamada is not the politician that Palpatine was, and the crisis in the Outer Rim only adds further legitimacy. With their Inquisitors defeated and the pressure mounting politically, they are unable to react as the Jedi establish themselves on Jedha with a new Jedi Council forming, including their newest master, Anakin Skywalker. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.